all this rare and unique content. Please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.
Hello everyone and welcome to Snag number 8. This episode will really illustrate that when you're out there looking for magazines, really look closely, because sometimes things are hidden, just like Bigfoot. And here is an example of that very thing. This magazine, as you can see, is called The Traveler's Guide to Cursed Creepy Destinations. And as you look at the cover, you don't really make a connection with Bigfoot or Yeti. However, what caught my eye was at the bottom, under featuring, you have at the very tail end, cryptids and more. And as we all know and probably agree, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti is most likely the most popular and infamous of the cryptids. So with that said, I thought, well, maybe there might be something in here. So let's open up and take a look. So first thing is the welcome page. And when you scroll down towards the bottom, there's the word Bigfoot. So I'll just start from, 2/3 of the way down. Or perhaps road trip through the USA on the hunt for Bigfoot, page 121. So we know for sure there's going to be something about Bigfoot. Now, I must say honestly, when I picked up the magazine, I didn't start with the welcome section. I went to the TOC, otherwise known as the Table of Contents, or in this case, just contents. And as I looked in the contents, I wasn't seeing anything to do with Bigfoot on the first page of the contents. You see a bunch of different things. What is Cursed and Creepy, the rise of haunted tourism, a field guide to spooks, Shadows of the Shambles, Britain's most haunted village, Welcome to Dracula Country, Ghosts of the Green Isle. A lot of stuff to do with creepy destinations and cursed destinations. Then I looked on the next page of the contents, and again, I really wasn't seeing anything. However, at the very bottom, we see on page 116, formidable forests and petrifying woods. Don't go down to these woods today. And I thought to myself, there is mention of Bigfoot. So, well, actually, I didn't think that because I didn't look at the welcome part, but I knew there was cryptids. So I thought there's got to be something in that section, if not sooner. And that's where I jumped. I jumped to page 116. And that's where I found something of interest. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to show you something pretty amazing about this magazine, is that there's a lot of little snippets about Bigfoot. And so why don't we just flip through here. And I'm, as usual, literally physically flipping through the magazine. That's the background noise that you hear. On page 7, we have a little section, and it's cryptids and monsters, and maybe I'll zoom in on that for you, and I'll just read some of it here. Cryptozoology is the study of creatures that are not currently known to conventional science. It is studied by cryptozoologists who believe that many creatures are yet to be discovered, a belief that is strengthened by the scientific treatment of animals such as the duck-billed platypus and the okapi, both of which were initially thought to be hoaxes. Cryptids such as Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster and Mothman, etc., etc., etc. So there is another mention of Bigfoot. Thank goodness, because that's why I bought the magazine, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. And as per usual, I'm not going to show you everything in the magazine, but I'm definitely going to focus on that which pertains to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti. And I'm going to flip again. I don't want to lose my pages. I've got them bookmarked, and not very well. I just heard one of them fall. On page 11, we have something called We Want to Believe. This is cool. Mid-century anthropologist Anthony Wallace predicted that belief in supernatural beings and in supernatural forces that affect nature without obeying nature's laws will erode and become only an interesting historical memory. But boy, oh boy, was he wrong. One recent study by Chapman University discovered that many Americans still believe in the paranormal, from the most common superstitions such as haunted houses to Bigfoot and soothsayers. In fact, more Americans believe in the supernatural than believe in scientific theories such as Darwin's theory of evolution, or that humanity has any impact on climate change, etc., etc. And we have a line graph here. I believe it's a line graph, or no, I guess it's a bar graph. Was never good at math. Anyways, it's a chart of some sort, a graph of some sort. Feel free to correct me in the comments section. It's been a while since I've done any math or any graphs. I think these are bar graphs. 58% believe in ghosts, 41% believe in aliens, 26% believe in telekinesis, 21% believe in Bigfoot, and 17% believe in psychic ability. And I really hate the use of the word believe, because there's a religious connotation to that. And the skeptics like to throw that in your face. Anywho, when we turn the next page, on to page 12, we have a field guide to spooks. And you really, again, not expecting anything about Bigfoot here. And I don't think there is mention of Bigfoot, but clearly under cryptids, there is an illustration of what is most likely a depiction of a Bigfoot or Yeti. And it says, cryptids, tips, take care. If you are looking for cryptids, be aware of your environment. If you're outside and looking for evidence, it may be easy to lose your footing and hurt yourself. That is true. Be careful when you're out there looking. Take a friend, take some emergency contact type of device. Let people know where you're going. You don't want to end up like Aaron Ralston and have to cut off your arm because no one knew where you were. So yeah, be careful out there. And never go alone. I've done that many times and I was an idiot. Yes, indeed. So you can see there's quite a bit of stuff so far. Well, a few things about Bigfoot. And I'm going to flip again here. And hopefully I don't miss anything. I may have to go back and double check. Because again, I've bookmarked things and the bookmarks are falling out as I'm turning pages. Okay, so I'm now on page 103. And by the way, most of the stuff up until this point has been the stuff that you don't see anyways, because I've jumped a lot of pages, is just to do with cemeteries and castles and areas that are haunted and cursed, right? But on page 103 we have something called the Dyatlov Pass, and I'm not going to read all this, but there's some people that connect this with Bigfoot or the Yeti, because people, I think it was 9 highly experienced ski hikers mysteriously died in 1959, and they had skull injuries and chest fractures, and horrifyingly, two were missing their eyes, and so people just automatically put this down as a Bigfoot or Yeti attack. But if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this was. It's been concluded that it didn't really happen the way that that was described. So be aware of that. I don't think that this is a true story. Let's put it that way. Okay, so beware. Now on the same page on 103, we have something that's always been intriguing to me, which is the Nahanni National Park Reserve. And there's been a lot of stuff happen here, and I think this is also known as the Headless Valley. Or as they say here, the Valley of the Headless Men. And there's been a bunch of stories pertaining to people going missing in this area and or found headless. It's pretty far north, and I believe that I'm not going to read this, but if memory serves me, it's up in the Yukon or Northwest Territories. Maybe it's the Northwest Territories, which is a part of northwestern Canada. But maybe you're wrong. Oh yeah, there it does say their location, Northwest Territories, Canada. So a lot has happened there, allegedly, purportedly. I don't know, but it's quite mysterious apparently. Does it have to do with Bigfoot? I don't know. There's no mention of Bigfoot there. Okay, 106. This is when we get into the nuts and bolts. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff that we're looking for. that really speaks to the Yeti and Bigfoot. And on page 106, the Himalayas. It should be the Himalaya. But anyways, there's always going to be mistakes in magazines, and not many people know that it's the Himalaya. That's plural. But it's talking, of course, about the abominable snowman and or the Yeti. I'll leave it there for a second so you can take a look. And they mention the word Bigfoot. Unlike Bigfoot, however, Asian folk history warns that this is not a cuddly creature. I guess Bigfoot is a cuddly creature. Is that what they're implying? Yeah, so you've had a bit of time. You could always pause the video and read that at your leisure. On page 107, the next page, Harrison Hot Springs, which is kind of the Willow Creek or Bluff Creek of Canada. It's kind of Canada's Bigfoot Sasquatch capital, truly Sasquatch capital, because that's essentially where the word, came to fruition by J.W. Burns, John W. Burns, John Walter Burns, kind of made that word up, anglicized another indigenous native word. So, yeah, Harrison Hot Springs, been there many times. As some know, I went to see John Green before he passed away, and went through a lot of his files, all of his files actually, and his photos and film and everything. It was amazing. But anyways, of course, they're talking about Bigfoot in Harrison Hot Springs, and you can see a photo there of a wood carving, and lo and behold, I sat there one day too. Look at that. There I am, sitting beside Sasquatch. Anywho, you can read that. Again, pause it if you want to read all about Harrison Hot Springs Sasquatch. Again, it's in British Columbia, and it's Canada's Sasquatch capital, let's say. Moving on, because there's a lot. This is where I flipped initially when I was looking at this magazine. I flipped to page 116. Formidable forests and petrifying woods. Woodlands provide solitude and sanctuary for many creatures, from birds and bears to witches and Bigfoot. And when I saw that word Bigfoot, I went bingo. That's what I want. Some beautiful, I don't know if this is AI artwork, if this is a photo that's been manipulated, but just enchanting. It's beautiful. So let's turn the page. It's actually a couple pages in. We have a few things here. I'm not going to show you, but there's something on the New Jersey Devil. If you're into that, some people think it's some type of Bigfoot creature. And beside that, on its own page, on page 121, The Hunt for Bigfoot USA. And this is what's cool. They talk about Canada, Harrison Hot Springs, and now they're talking about the USA. Various USA places. And okay, let me read a little bit of this. Bigfoot, also known as wood ape or Sasquatch, is the most infamous cryptid in the world. These gigantic Neanderthal-like ape men with a skunk-like stench have been spotted all over North America for centuries. And they talk about Washington, California, Florida, Ohio, Illinois, and Oregon, and the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, also known as the BFRO. The BFRO is devoted to the scientific study and research of Bigfoot. Yeah, I mean, the BFRO gets a lot of trashing, but it's just people being jealous. Let's face it, if it weren't for the BFRO, many of us wouldn't have the information we have. I mean, that's a fact. So yeah, the haters are going to hate. And like someone said, if people are hating you, you're doing something right. Just an honorable mention here on page 122, magical, the museums. It features some museums here, which is cool. And an acquaintance of mine, Lauren Coleman, who's done a lot for Bigfoot research and other types of cryptozoology research, gets a bit of a shout out here, and I'll let you take a look at that. The International Cryptozoology Museum. And you can see he's got his big Bigfoot figure there. Clearly, Lauren's been in the game the longest of anyone living, as far as I know. So check out his museum when you get a chance. He's a great guy. He's doing great work. So that again, let's look at the cover again. This is the magazine, The Traveler's Guide to Cursed creepy destinations. And as far as what year this is, I don't believe that it says what month, but it's issue 2. And if I'm not mistaken, there's mention of 2024 in here. So you know it's fairly new, but it doesn't say a month. And often with these types of magazines, it won't tell you what month it is because they want to milk it for the entire year. And I understand that. This cost $21.99 US, $26.99 in Canada. Pick up a copy, support magazines, and stay well. Ciao.
If you're enjoying all this rare and unique content, please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.